Hello, grade prep 3. Welcome back to another video of our series of New Hello 3. Um, I hope you're doing amazing. We're gonna study Unit 15 from New Hello 3 entitled Technology. For this lesson's objectives, for grammar, we're gonna study the second conditional with would, might, or could. For reading, we're gonna read a text about technology. For listening, we're gonna listen to a talk about privacy on social networking sites. For speaking, we're gonna encourage people to speak. For writing, we're gonna write a report about social media. Lesson 1. Ask and answer. What can you do on a smartphone as well as talk to people? Pause and answer. Check your answer with me. We can use them to send messages and emails, transfer money to a bank, or to pay for things in shops. Now, read the newspaper article and check your answer to exercise 1. The latest technology. We're going to read a text about technology. Egypt was the first Arab country to use the internet and now has nearly 50 million internet users. However, technology is changing all the time, so it's important to learn about the latest developments. Many jobs now require you to know how to use social media. Some companies now use social media to advertise jobs and to arrange interviews. In fact, if a person didn't know how to use social media, it might be more difficult for them to find work. How we send messages is also changing. In the past, you could only send emails using a computer. Now, you can send texts or emails on a mobile phone or tablet. Social networking sites allow you to send messages to many people at the same time. This is very useful. If you want to send messages to a group of people, for example, to your friends in a sports team or a book club, the way that we use our mobile phones is also changing. We can use them to transfer money to or from a bank, or even to pay for things in shops. If someone wanted to have the latest technology, they could buy a smartphone. The latest technology can help you to do many things. We can find out about it online or in some magazines. Some words and their definitions. Developments, the processes of becoming bigger, better, etc. Advertise, tell people about something in newspapers, on TV, etc. Arrange, make plans for something to happen. Require, need, or ask you to do something. Social media, websites used by people to communicate, transfer, move someone or something from one place to another. Which of the words in red in the text mean the following? Number 1 is done for you. Number 1, the processes of becoming bigger, better, etc. Developments. 2, tell people about something in newspapers, on TV, etc. 3, make plans for something to happen. 4, need or ask you to do something. 5, websites used by people to communicate. 6, move someone or something from one place to another. Both the video, think, and answer come back to check your answer with me. Okay, now check your answers. 2, advertise. 3, arrange. 4, require. 5. Social media. 6. Transfer. I hope all your answers are correct. Now with exercise 4. Are these sentences true or false? 1. Egypt used the internet before any other country in the world. The answer is done for you, which is false. 2. You can find some jobs on the internet. 3. You need a computer to send an email. 4. Some people can buy things using their mobile phones. So now put the video, put true or false next to each sentence. Check your answers with me. Number 2, true. Number 3, false. You can use a smartphone. Number 4, true. For lesson 2, which is a grammar lesson, we're gonna deal with second conditional. Exercise 1, underline would, might, could, if, and the two verbs in each sentence. Number 1 is done for you. If a person didn't know how to use social media, it might be more difficult for them to find work. Here we gotta underline if, didn't know, might be. We'll do the same for number 2 and 3. For number 2, if somebody wanted to have the latest technology, they could buy a smartphone. 3, if you had a smartphone, it would be easy to transfer money. I'll give you time to think, come back to check your answers. Check your answers with me. If somebody wanted to have the latest technology, they could buy a smartphone. Here we underline if, wanted, could buy. For number 3, if you had a smartphone, it would be easy to transfer money. If would be underlined, had, would be. To discuss the second conditional in details, here we use the second conditional when we speak about impossible situations. We use the second conditional to talk about situations that are either impossible or which might not happen. So the first part would be in the past simple, and the second part we would use would, might, or could plus the infinitive. So let's see the examples given here. If I were taller, I'd be good at basketball. If I were taller, of course I can be taller here, so it's an impossible situation. This is the condition. What will happen as a result? I would be good at basketball. Of course that could happen. Couldn't happen because I can get taller. Second example, if I went to England, I would visit London. So here it's again an impossible situation. I can visit London because I can't go to England. So here we notice that the verb went is in the past simple, and in the result part, I would visit, would plus infinitive. We use might instead of would. Might means would perhaps. If you learn Japanese, you might get a job in Tokyo. I'm not sure. You can learn Japanese and still not get the job. So here, if you learn Japanese, I'm not sure if you will learn it. I think it's impossible. You might get a job in Tokyo. I'm not sure if you're gonna get the job. We can use could instead of would. Could means would be able to. If we went to the beach, we could go swimming. We have the ability to do so. We can go swimming, but in the case that we went to the beach, which is impossible or unlikely to happen. In the negative, might not show possibility, but couldn't shows inability or impossibility. If you went to the museum now, it might not be very busy. If you visited the palace, you couldn't go in the gardens because they are closed. So here you can go in the gardens because they are closed. So if you visited the palace, it's unlikely to happen. Listen to exercise 2. Complete these sentences with the correct form of the verb in brackets to make correct conditionals. To remind my students again, if always in the second conditional is followed by past simple in the condition part, and the second sentence, which is the result, is used by using could or might plus infinitive. So here, number 1 is done for you. We could go shopping if we had enough time. Number 2, if we all each other, the world space a better place to live in. Number 3, if I space very ill, I space to the doctor. 4, if you space how to speak English, it's space difficult for you to travel to London. 5, his parents space him if he space them about the problem. I'll give you time to think. Remember our rule. If in the second conditional is always followed by past simple and the result part, the second sentence, is in could plus infinitive. Okay, check your answers with me. Number 2, loved and would or could be. Number 3, was and would go. Number 4, didn't know and would or might. 5, would or could help plus told in the second space. We still in lesson 2. Complete the question, then ask an answer. Notice here, to form a question, we should do inversion. Like, you would go would be, would you go? Would you go? Okay, so let's read the example here. Where would you go? Would you go? If you want a trip to anywhere in the world, the answer is, if I want a trip to anywhere in the world, I might go to Japan. So let's do the same as exercise 1, which just I gave you the answer. Where you go when a trip to anywhere in world. 2, what you do, lose your school bag. 3, who you phone, you see an accident. 4, what your parents say you not to do well in your exams. To form the question, remember to do the inversion. Would you go? Would you go? Would you study? Check your answers with me. What would you do if you lost your school bag? Here notice, would you do? What would you do? 3, who would you phone if you saw an accident? So we notice here, if in the middle it's followed by past simple, we just do the inversion in would plus infinitive part. So here it would be would plus subject, okay, plus infinitive. 4, what would your parents say if you didn't do well in your exams? Use here didn't do. Notice when we use didn't, we put the verb in the infinitive form. Lesson 3. Ask and answer. Number 1. Which social networking sites do you know? 2. Do you use any social networking sites? Which ones do you use? 3. What kind of information should you not put on social networking sites? 4. What problems might you have if someone has information about you from social networking sites? Pause and try to think of these answers.
technological limitations which we face if you are working in this area regarding the data processing or how you store data, its requirements. I can't think of more valuable data than data that preserves culture around the world.
I think this is not just about SciArc themselves, it's also about everybody who's involved in this whole process. So in a sense, we hope that more people can actually pick up the skill sets and contribute to the conservation of heritage with digital platforms.
What SciArc is doing, preserving historic sites, we feel that, we believe in that mission, and we feel that it's socially responsible to want to support SciArc in that.
Number one is to help better conserve these sites. Number two, is going to be the education and awareness and outreach. I just love to see the data that SciArc is generating with the support of CA and our other sponsors. Is used for that purpose to help generate awareness and ignite some curiosity about these sites and hopefully lead to a more of a shared understanding of our past.
Okay, I hope that this video was so clear about the idea of our IARC project, which is digital reservation of our historical heritage. Now let's read the text about digital projects. Unfortunately, many of the world's ancient wonders are in great danger. However, a way to help save many of these monuments has been found by Ben Tashira, an engineer who comes from Iraq. SciArc is a project that he started in 2002. It uses special cameras that take photos of ancient temples and monuments. If anything happened to these buildings, the photos would help archaeologists and engineers to repair them. IARC's projects have also been put on online gallery, so that people from all over the world can see and understand the beauty of these ancient buildings. Ancient Thebes. Many tourists visit the area of ancient Thebes to see buildings such as the Ramesseum, one of the most interesting ancient temples. Special photos of the temple's floors and walls have been taken by SciArc's cameras. These will give archaeologists more information about the temple. The archaeologists would be able to use the photos if they needed to repair it. Notice here that Thebes is Luxor now. Complete the sentences using these words from the article. Gallery, Iraq, monument, repair, temple. Number 1 is done for you. 1. This temple is around 2,000 years old. 2. Rami's bike is broken. How can we space it? 3. Baghdad is a big city in space. 4. We saw some famous paintings in the new art space. The Sphinx is a famous space that many tourists visit. So pause the video now, answer, and come back to check your answers with me later. Okay, check your answers with me. Number 2, repair. Number 3, Iraq. Number 4, gallery. Number 5, monument. Answer the questions. Number 1, how will the digital photos help archaeologists and engineers? 2, where can people see SciArc's projects? 3, which area has SciArc worked on in Cairo, Egypt? What has been done at the Ramesseum temple? 1. They will help archaeologists and engineers to repair the buildings if anything happens to them. 2. They can see them on online gallery. 3. It has worked in the area of ancient Thebes. 4. Special photos of the temple's floors and walls have been taken by Cyrus cameras. Great. Let's continue. Lesson 4. What do you think would happen if we didn't prepare Egyptian ancient wonders? 2. Do you think that all of the world's ancient monuments should be protected? Why? Why not? Think of the answers. Example answers, as you should use your own ideas. Number 1, they would probably fall down or become damaged. Number 2, use your own ideas. Review. Exercise 1, complete the text. We're gonna complete the text using these phrases. Developments require social media transfer. Number 1 is done for you. Let's read the text together. I always read about the latest developments in technology. I often tell my friends about it on space. In some countries, you can space money to or from a bank. The banks space you to write a special number online before you can do it. Complete the text using these words. Pause, answer, and come back to check your answers with me. Answers. Number 2, social media. Number 3, transfer. Number 4, require. Review. Use the second conditional with would, might, or could. Exercise 2. Write sentences in the second conditional with would, might, or could. Number 1 is done for you. What you say if you win prize? What might you say if you won a prize? Might you say, notice here the inversion. 2. If someone be unkind to you, you tell the teacher. 3. If I have money, I buy a laptop. Take your time to answer the question. Come back to check your answers. Check your answers with me. Number 2. If someone was unkind to you, would you tell the teacher? Notice the inversion here. Would you tell? 3. If I had money, I would, could, or might buy a laptop. I hope all your answers are correct. Next exercise. Encourage people to continue speaking. Exercise 3. Complete the dialogue. We use these phrases or words to complete the dialogue. More, really, what happened? Laila, there is a story in the newspaper about a scam on social media. Magda, tell me more. Laila, a robber found out the name and the address of a rich man. Magda, space, after that. Laila, he waited for the rich man to go away on business. Magda, space, go on. Laila, he went to his house and tried to take his money, but the police caught him. Pause the video, take your time to answer, come back to check your answers. The answers are, for number 2, what happened? For number 3, really? Now, with the writing skills. Here are some tips to write more accurately. Remember to use capital letters at the beginning of a new sentence. For the word I, for names of people, books, films, and places. Notice here, I as a pronoun is capitalized wherever it is. A full stop at the end of the sentence. A comma between words in a list between different parts of a sentence before words used for addition or contrast. Here are some examples. You and I, you at the beginning, so it's capital. I is capitalized because it's pronoun here. have learned a lot from the ancient Egyptians. They gave the world writing, calendars, and many other inventions. Notice the comma here, such as clocks and medical instruments. Thank you for taking the time to study with me, with you, teacher Marwa Shazli.